AI. We hear that term everywhere, right? It's gone from just being in sci-fi movies to, well, being a huge part of our actual lives. But what does it really mean when we say a machine is intelligent? In this explainer, we're going to break down the massive shift in how we actually build AI and what that change means for all of us. Let's dive in. Chances are you're using AI all the time, maybe without even thinking about it. It's the magic behind real-time translation, it's what's powering self-driving cars, and yeah, it's how your phone recognizes your friends and photos. AI isn't coming, it's already here, woven right into our day-to-day. Okay, so we see what it can do, which is amazing. But that brings us to the big question, right? How does all this stuff actually work? How on earth does a machine learn to do things that, until just recently, were things only humans could do? Well, to really get today's AI, you kind of have to understand that there have been two totally different eras. It's a story about a huge change in philosophy, from giving machines a strict set of rules to just letting them learn for themselves. Think of it like cooking. For the longest time, we built AI the way a chef follows a super strict recipe. That was symbolic AI. Programmers had to write out every single step, every if-then rule. But the new way, machine learning, is totally different. It's like a chef developing a world-class palate by tasting thousands and thousands of dishes. We just feed the AI a ton of data, and it figures out its own rules. So yeah, this old way, symbolic AI, gave us what we called expert systems. Back in the 70s, there were programs like Mycin that could help doctors diagnose diseases, and it worked by following this giant complex decision tree that was supposed to mimic a doctor's brain. It was pretty cool for its time, but here's the catch. It could only know what its programmers explicitly typed in. And this is where everything changes. Machine learning completely flips the script. It's a type of AI that doesn't just follow orders. It learns from data to make predictions. This single ability to create and improve its own rules is what's behind pretty much every major AI breakthrough you've seen lately. And if you want a perfect example of its power, just look at this. In 2016, an AI called AlphaGo beat the world's best human player at the game of Go. Now, Go is incredibly complex, and experts thought a computer beating a human champion was still decades away. It was a huge moment, but the story gets even crazier. 100-0. What do you think that score represents? Well, it's the result of a match that happened just 1 year later, and believe me, it changed the game completely. That was the score when a brand new AI called AlphaGo Zero played against the one that beat the human world champion. It wasn't even a contest. And here's the mind-blowing part. The original AlphaGo learned by studying thousands of games played by human experts. But AlphaGo Zero, it learned by playing millions of games against itself, with no human data whatsoever. AI had officially surpassed its own teachers. So when a technology moves this fast, it stops being just about code and starts having these massive real-world consequences. And that forces us to ask some really big, really tough questions. I mean, think about it. A self-driving car gets into an accident. Who's at fault? Is it the owner, the company that made it, the person who wrote the code? When the decision maker isn't a person, our whole idea of responsibility gets really blurry. And here's the thing. An AI is only as smart or as fair as the data we feed it. And our data, well, it's messy. It's full of our own biases. So how do we stop an AI from learning and amplifying those flaws when it's making important decisions about things like who gets a job or a loan? And then there's maybe the biggest question looming over all of this. As these machines get better at doing more and more complex jobs, what does that mean for the future of work? What's our role as humans in a world where machines are so capable? So, tackling these huge questions, that's not a job just for computer scientists. It needs a totally new approach, a collaborative one. And it turns out one university is doing something really interesting to make that happen. Over at the University of Rhode Island, they created a new AI lab. So they designed a lab with this really cool 3-part mission. Yes, it's about the tech, but it's also about teaching everyone on campus what AI can do, getting different departments to work together, and, this is the big one, sparking real conversations about all those social issues we were just talking about. And to make this all happen, they made a pretty revolutionary decision. They didn't stick the lab in some basement in the engineering building. Nope. They put it right in the heart of campus, in the library, the one place that's neutral ground for everyone, the intellectual hub of the whole university. Just think about what that simple choice does. It takes the lab from being this isolated thing for tech experts and turns it into a real meeting point, a hub where all these different ways of thinking can collide and create something new. And get this makes the AI lab at URI the very first in the entire country to be set up inside a university library. That's not just a fun fact. It really signals a huge shift in how we think about teaching this stuff. So what does that actually look like in practice? How do you build a community around a technology instead of just, building the technology itself? Well, the space itself is designed for all kinds of learning. You've got workstations for when you need to put your head down and focus. Then there's this hands-on bench for actually building things and experimenting. And then you have the main hub, which is all about group work, collaboration, and bouncing ideas off each other. It's built to be flexible. And you know what? It is totally working. You've got students from oceanography, philosophy, engineering, computer science. I mean, you name it. They're all in there using the lab to figure out what AI means for their specific field, and they're learning from each other. And that really gets to the core idea behind this whole project. It's a space built on the belief that what makes a place like this successful isn't the fancy hardware or the fastest computers. It's the people. It's the community of curious minds it brings together. So, this whole experiment at URI leaves us with a really important question to think about. Our tools are more powerful than they have ever been. So, what happens when we shift our focus from just building those tools to building the communities we need to help us use them wisely?